again. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Brass Knuckles Bible Club. I'm your host, Ronan. This guy over here is my trusted, handy-dandy co-host, Zed the Head. And listen, if I look like a bag of smashed donuts, it's because I feel like a bag of smashed donuts. Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure I got the newest strand of COVID. I mean, I'm kind of getting all this stuff at once. You know, I'm supposed to be doing a recording this Friday, and I don't want to stop that. You know, I'm really interested for this next one to come on. But I wanted to give this a whack at it, and this is This is probably going to be the last solo episode that I do for a while. I really gotta, I need a break. I'm working on too many things at the same time. I'm trying to write this novel. At the same time, I'm trying to do that. I'm going through training to be a certified ACBC biblical counselor. So like we're making moves here. We're making moves, and I just need a little bit of a break. Nothing crazy, and not like months and months off or anything. Just like I need like a week, maybe 2 weeks or something. But in any case, all right. So look, man, I've been waiting to do this episode for a while. You just have to understand that as soon as we got the testimonials going, we just started cooking with gas, and there wasn't really. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like, it just, as soon as I put out that message, asking, for vets, first responders, and blue collar workers, people just started coming out in the woodworks, and hey, man, I'm all about it. I didn't realize the untapped value and potential of testimonials. You know what I mean? I hate to sound like a broken record, but I mean, like back in episode 11, when I had on Staff Sergeant Nichols, he answered a question that I'd been struggling with for years. You know what I mean? And he was just talking. There wasn't anything, he wasn't even saying anything that super crazy, but that's why I tell all these people, like, your stories matter. And so, you have no idea who you might be helping. You might just say something that might just roll off the tongue, and you might not even think that it was nothing. You thought you probably made way better points, but that one thing, you could have helped somebody. You could, help snatch somebody out of the fire. Somebody that's kind of wandering off, you can reel them back in, or if they've never heard it all, you might be planting a seed that will find good soil and take root and, and yield 30, 60, and sometimes 100-fold. You never know, which is why I love these things. It's just, I'm just kind of getting my butt kicked here, but that's all right. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with it. It's probably going to get a little bit annoying, but at some point I am going to be picking, these solo episodes back up. Reactions, stuff like that. I'm going to be diversifying here a little bit, but getting back to the original, like why this thing started, again, it's like I said, I was saved out of the occult and the new age secret societies. And, that stuff is so elusive and it traps so many people. And I've come to love the truth, and I hate lies. And I hate people who spread lies.
You liar!
Okay? I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So, I made this channel, and a lot of the first couple of episodes I was making, I was doing like these in-depth exposés, exposing different facets of the new age and, bringing the darkness to light, Ephesians 5:11, right? Exposing the deeds of wickedness. And, so we touched a little bit on, yoga. We did crystals, did a couple other ones, astrology. Now this one's, I will tell you that this one was the most spiritually taxing. And this might just sound like a bunch of facts to you, but this was pretty taxing for a number of different reasons. First of all, a lot of this stuff was very convoluted. A lot of this stuff was very general. And so, like, I had to weed through a lot, right? If there's no, like, real rigid, clear, distinct lines, it's really hard to, like, pin something down. And you'll see where I'm going at with this. The way I deliver it to you, though, it's going to sound like bing, 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 boom, right? But I can tell you, it was not bing, 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 bang, boom. It was not like that at all. It was like sifting through CS gas, OC spray, and seaweed. Like, I mean, it was slippery, it was slimy, it was confusing, it was painful, and like I said, it was spiritually draining. And part of the reason why it was spiritually draining, and I know I'm going to get some blowback for this, and this wasn't for shock jock value or anything like that, but I've said it once and I've said it before. Whenever I'm telling you stuff, I'm pulling from the original source material, okay? I'm not just copying stuff that I found on a Reddit page or from a Wikipedia page, okay? I'm not. What do I mean when I say I'm pulling from the original source material? Well, here's what I mean, okay? Little show and tell with your buddy Ronan here. Okay, so when I do any kind of a video, right, and I'm exposing anything that is said in the Talmud, I'm pulling it from the Talmud. Okay. Whenever I'm exposing anything that I'm telling you is coming from the Torah, I'm pulling it from the Torah. Same thing whenever I made my, I think it was like episode 5, We Are Not the Same, okay, about Islam. Take a guess where I pulled it. And the Hadith. Okay. These are just but a taste. Okay. This is but a taste. Right. So, that's what I mean when I say I'm pulling it from the original source material. Same thing with yoga, pulling from the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. You remember all those books that I go, hey, these are the authoritative texts? Where do you think I get that from? I just showed you. Now, that said, I know that's probably going to send some people over the rails a little bit, right? Because they're going to go, what? They're going to freak out and they're going to say it's doctrines of demons. I would tell you that I understand what you're saying, okay? I understand in that they are false gospels, okay? But here's the thing. Who are you going to trust? Who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust the hillbilly that looks like he made the video in his mom's basement, okay? With the tinfoil hat, the thick Kentucky accent, and the stuff that he obviously pulled off of Wikipedia? Or are you going to trust the information from the guy who's telling you, hey, I got it from the original source, here it is? Okay. Now, make of that what you will. Couple things. One, I am indwelt by the Holy Spirit. Okay. I am a born again, spirit indwelt Christian, covered in the blood of the Lamb. Okay. That said, no, I don't read these things. Okay. I pull them out and I study when I have to. Okay. Aside from that, no, I'm not meditating on these things, and I'm definitely not letting it influence my view on the gospel. As far as I'm concerned, Okay. You remember I told you that I'm going to be starting a segment. All right. I told you that I was going to be starting a segment on my show. Okay. Where, for the people that didn't believe me, okay, that I was actually going to pull from the original source material and tell you what these false doctrines say. And by the way, not just these counterfeit religions. I'll tell you what they actually say about crystals, about what they say about yoga, about what they say about Hinduism. And I said I was going to name the segment, hey, let's read poop. Okay? Because that's what it is. Poop. As far as I'm concerned, all of these books make up my shelf of poop. Okay? But again, Ephesians 5:11, exposing this stuff. Now, not going to sell you anymore. But back to the point of what I was actually talking about, okay? That's kind of a testament of what I mean when I say that, like, I want to be a trusted voice. I want you to know, like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he's not just pulling it from his yin-yang. This is the real stuff, okay? Now, on that note, I did have to venture a little bit far out of my comfort zone, okay? Tarot. Tarot is what we're going over, all right? Right off the offset, I will tell you that this was the most spiritually taxing thing that I've done. If you will look at the desk right here, and this is just to further to my credit, okay? And I'm not puffing myself up. This is just saying, like, you can actually rely on what. Take special note of the texture of the desk. Look at the desk right here. Okay. I'm going to be superimposing pictures. All right. There's going to be a lot of pictures in this one to actually kind of illustrate what it is that I'm telling you and what I'm talking about here. So you're going to be able to go and follow along with me. All right. Look at the background behind these pictures. That's my desk. Okay. What do you think that tells you? Tells you I actually had it. I will tell you, I don't have it anymore. When I was studying this stuff, and I only kept it around as long as I needed to get the information that I needed, and then I burned it. And I could tell you that it was making me physically ill. It was making me physically ill. Like I felt nauseous just being around this stuff. And that's not being weird. It's not being mystical. That's not being anything like that. Okay. That is just letting you know that this stuff was spiritually disgusting. Okay. It was gross. Like it made me physically ill. And whenever I was done, I prayed over the house, you know, prayed over the house, prayed over my kids. But here we go. Here's that information. Okay. So today we're going to be bringing to light tarot. Now, unfortunately, this stuff is pretty common. It's all over the place. It is all over TikTok. All right. But here's the thing about tarot. Tarot is not unique. All right. This is essentially just the Instagram-friendly, westernized version of the greatest lie that was ever told. Genesis 3:15, ye shall be as gods. You liar! Okay? Today, we're going to be flipping over the devil's deck. This is 78 cards of spiritual fentanyl, okay? And, yeah, I'm here to ruin the whole table. So, buckle up. All right, so right here, understand this, that tarot was originally, it just started off as a harmless card game, okay? This originated in the 1400s in northern Italy. Okay, and it was originally called Carte de Trionfe. Okay, or the Cards of Triumph. Um, Later, this was called Tarocchi in Italy, and then eventually it was called Tarot in France. Originally, this was proposed essentially as kind of like a trick card game. I mean, you think like, I don't know, spades, right? So here's essentially how it is set up. And again, I'm not telling you how to read tarot cards. I'm just telling you how it's structured. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the bare bones is what I'm giving you. Okay. Um, and I'm taking all the mysticism out of it is what I'm doing. So essentially there are 22 trump cards. All right. These cards, they essentially supersede the cards of lesser suits, and they became what is known as the major arcana. All right, I know that's a little bit scarier than what it actually is. The remaining 56 cards are broken up into 4 suits. Okay, so you think like clubs, diamonds, hearts, um, spades, right? Except these are, cups, swords, wands, and pentacles. All right. Now, originally, the medieval imagery, they were meant purely for gameplay. I mean, it wasn't really meant for divination. But as with anything else, symbolic inversion is what took over. Okay. Symbolic inversion is essentially when symbolic inversion is essentially whenever a symbol, a ritual, or a practice is co-opted, it's hijacked, and then it's repurposed for the opposing group. Um, so you might recognize this symbol, okay? You might recognize this symbol, okay? This is the swastika, very obviously associated with Nazi Germany. It's associated with genocide, anti-Semitism, and white supremacy, and essentially, it's just evil. Okay, but that's not what this symbol meant in about the 1920s. Okay, the symbol derives from the Sanskrit. Okay, it's called swastika. All right, and essentially it meant good fortune. Ain't that sweet? Okay. However, that's obviously not what it means now. Okay. That is not what that means now. So, no one is going to be looking at this like a good luck charm. Nobody's going to be looking at this like a rabbit's foot. Nobody is, trust me, I would highly advise not walking around town with a swastika t-shirt. Okay. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Don't do that. So you're also probably familiar with this symbol. Okay. The rainbow. It was originally the symbol for God's covenant with Noah. It's beautiful, right? Later, unfortunately, it was hijacked by the Alphabet Army, and it literally just became the symbol for weird sex stuff. Okay. That's what it became known for. And essentially what is holy has now become profane. So So, what are some of the other things that we can tell are definitely falling into this camp? Well, we could probably think of high point pistols. We could probably think of the Dallas Cowboys. And we could definitely think of, you guessed it, the IRS. Okay. So now you're kind of understanding symbolic inversion. Well, what else kind of fell into symbolic inversion? Well, none other than the serpent. He was the original biblical symbol for Satan. Okay. But now he's essentially the symbol for wisdom. Okay. Spiritual insight. At least that's what they will tell you in the New Age. Okay. But it's not. He's still the serpent. Okay. He's not good. Okay. He's evil. All right. We understand that? All right. So the same thing essentially happened to tarot. All right. Tarot didn't start off demonic. I mean, unfortunately, it just got possessed, and it's kind of the same thing. I mean, like over time. Essentially, that's what happened to America. That's exactly what happened to America. All right. So here's an overview of the foundational occultic figureheads. So first up, we have Antoine Court de Gebelin. Now, he claimed that tarot came from ancient Egypt. All right. He was a respected academic and a Freemason. Okay. So people believed him. All right. He gave the mysticism, surrounding tarot mystical clout. Okay. And I don't know. I mean, they believed him, so should we?
Oh no. Oh no.
I would suspect, maybe so. Now we have Jean-Baptiste Alliette, a French occultist and a fortune teller. And he created the first tarot deck for divination. Okay. Essentially what he did is he assigned astrological, alchemical, and esoteric meanings to the cards. I mean, that's essentially what he did. But he reversed the meanings of other cards essentially to fit his own intentions. Okay. There's a lot of manipulation going on here, but he did make the first guidebook on how to use tarot cards. Okay, that's not good. Worse yet, he made the tarot available to commoners, so he spread it to the masses. Okay, that's a problem. That's a problem. Next up, we have Eliphas Levi. He was a French Catholic turned occultist and ceremonial magician. All right. He fused tarot and the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life and Hermeticism. Okay, so it was just a giant hodgepodge of demonic crap, is what it was. All right. But Levi laid the theological foundations for tarot and the Western mystery religions. Okay. Levi's teachings, they essentially inspired the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. That's bad. If you know anything about the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, they had probably some of the most evil people on the planet within their ranks. Okay. No bueno. No bueno. The Golden Dawn turned tarot into a full-scale occult initiation system. Okay, uh, they merged astrology with numerology. In the Golden Dawn, what they did was they mainstreamed occult tarot within the elite esoteric circles, and they trained like again they trained some of the most evil and influential occultists of the 20th century. Okay, it's not good, not good. So this brings me to Arthur Edward Waite, all right, and Pamela Coleman Smith, who were also both members of the Golden Dawn. Okay. Those two published the Rider Waite tarot deck. It's the most mainstream tarot deck, and it was specifically for mystical symbolism. Okay, that's what it was for. Sorry, I know I'm wearing it out. All right, but hey, look who's up next. Sorry, it's not Pikachu. The founder of Thelema. I'm not going to do the evil laugh. I know you're kind of getting over it. Widely regarded as one of the most evil men in history. Is this sounding good? You don't want to be known as that. He founded and created Thoth Tarot, and essentially what he did was he embedded it in blasphemous teachings.
You liar!
Okay, lying on Jesus. That's what he was doing. All right. Next up, who do we got?
It's Pikachu!
It's not Pikachu. Carl Jung. He was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, and basically he founded analytic psychology. But here's the problem. He believed that every human tapped into a spiritual memory, which he called essentially the collective unconscious. And Jung said that tarot was just a pictorial representation of the archetypes of the collective unconscious. And he reframed tarot as archetypes.
Oh no!
Okay. That has a lot to do with what is known as shadow work today. Okay. That'll be a whole different thing in and of itself. Okay. So here's some of those archetypes. Okay. All right. Well, we got the Fool, innocent seeker. We got the magician, trickster. We got the high priestesses. We have death. Okay, we have the devil. The devil. We have the devil. I don't want to move any further. Okay. But we're gonna. Not good. Okay. We got the tower. Not that bad. All right. And we have the world, and we know how much the world is for us. It's not. Okay. Carl Jung, essentially what he did was he taught that tarot images helped people project their subconscious issues, and he made them more, I guess you could say, apparent and visible for teaching.
You liar!
All right, it sounds deep, but here's the problem. The problem is that you're still teaching people to look inward for their salvation, okay, and instead of looking outward towards Christ. Okay, you're fumbling the ball there. No bueno. And essentially what they did, I mean, these people, they're just a bunch of demonic clowns and dipped in goat's blood, and they rolled around and, they rolled this game in Kabbalah, Greek gods, Babylonian nonsense, and then they passed it off as spiritual insight.
I'm gonna die, clown!
Okay, that's what they did. That is the giant cluster that is tarot. Now, essentially, Jung was He was about one peyote trip away from channeling spirits and calling a doctoral thesis. Okay. Crowley, essentially, he was just a glorified trust fund Satanist who snorted coke off of Egyptian artifacts. Okay. Now, Levi, well, he drew the gender fluid goat demon with boobs and wings and a caduceus. Okay. All right. And De Geblin, well, I mean, he just straight up just made it up.
You liar!
All right. That's not ascension. That is psychosis in cursive. Okay, that's exactly what that is. That was Scooby Doo, by the way, in case you didn't know. All right. Moving right along. So, coming up next, we have the authoritative texts. All right, we got Le Monde Primitif. We got Manière de se recreer avec les jeux de cartes nommés tarot. Okay, sorry, sue me. Dogma et ritual de la haute magie. Okay, and we have the tarot, and we have, well, you guessed it, the Book of Thoth. Okay, none of these are good. None of these are good. I know you probably don't recognize these titles, and if you don't, good. If you do recognize these titles, that's bad. Okay, that's bad. Now, this brings me to Leviticus 19:31. All right, because we got to have a little bit of spiritual clapback right here. Do not turn to mediums or spiritists. Do not seek them out to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. Okay. God, I mean, he didn't mince his words there. So, here's the major arcana. Okay, so look, here's supposedly what these cards mean. Again, according to the tarot. Okay. Up first, we have the Fool. Allegedly is related to innocence, new beginnings, free spirit. Okay, that's what they'll tell you. But Lucifer's spin on it, or really just the BS that they're going to sell you, is cast off all laws. Okay, do whatever you want. You're essentially your own god, and ironically, is extremely foolish.
Oh no!
Yeah, extremely foolish. Oh, we got the Magician. According to tarot, this essentially means manifestation, resourcefulness, and power.
Oh yeah!
Okay. So essentially, the Luciferian twist on this, the actual truth behind it is, you have the divine power. Manifest your own reality. Essentially, there's no need for God.
You liar!
Okay. That's what that means, at least to them. Now, oh boy, we have the High Priestess. Okay. Intuition, unconscious, knowledge, mystery, divine feminine. Okay. Trust your inner gnosis. The truth is hidden from the unworthy, and essentially, you're one of the chosen. Okay? You're one of the chosen. That's essentially what they mean there. The Empress. Sorry. Fertility and abundance. That's what they'll tell you. In other words, create without boundaries. I mean, you're the giver of life and destiny, Mother Earth, and all that other nonsense. It's your altar. But you're really just gay. Okay. The Emperor. Authority, stability, structure.
Oh yeah!
Okay. Be your own ruler. That's what they're telling you. Be your own ruler. essentially crush all those that oppose you. All right. Moving right along. The Hierophant. Well, according to tarot, essentially what this means, it represents tradition, religion, conformity, and spiritual guidance. However, this is just assuming a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. 2 Timothy 3:5.
You liar!
Okay? That's all that the Hierophant is. Lovers. I don't know. Can you guess? Do whatever feels right. Your desire is sacred. Love is love. But you're really just gay. All right. The Chariot. Well, this one's, everyone loves this one. Control, willpower, victory.
Oh yeah!
Okay. Your destiny is yours to conquer. But victory is a matter of self-will, not submission. Okay. Certainly not submission to God. Strength. Well, everybody's going to love this one. Courage, resilience, inner strength.
Oh yeah!
Okay. You're strong on your own. There's no need for God. You're enough. But you're not.
You liar!
Okay. The Hermit. Soul searching. Introspection. Inner guidance. All right. Withdraw from the external truth. Everything that you need is within you. Okay. That's what they're really saying with this. Wheel of Fortune, fate, cycles, change, destiny. Okay. Your fate is fluid, essentially. You can write your own destiny through will and wisdom. No, you can't. No, you can't. Justice. Everyone loves this one. Truth, fairness, accountability.
Oh yeah!
Who doesn't love accountability, right? But unfortunately, what they're telling you is that the truth is relative.
You liar!
Okay. Do what you feel is right. It kind of reminds me of, in those days, men did what was right in their own eyes. You're the judge of what's right and wrong. That's what they're telling you. I'm seeing a common thread with all these. I don't know. These are all very self-serving. I don't know if you can tell that. The Hanged Man, sacrifice, relief, new perspective. Yeah. Okay. Essentially what they want you to do is they want you to crucify outdated beliefs, and they want you to surrender only to self. Enlightenment to them comes through inversion, but it doesn't. It leads you straight to hell. Okay. That is definitely where you do not want to find yourself. Oh, look at this. I mean, who wouldn't love to get the death card? Okay. But to them, they're saying that essentially it just means, endings, rebirth, transformation. That sounds nice, right? Of course, you and I know the truth, and we know that death means death. Death doesn't mean rebirth.
You liar!
Okay. Death means death. Temperance, balance, harmony. Find your own balance. And this is essentially what a shadow work has become. And it's basically, you can see this in all sorts of different types of movies. It's mix your light, mix your darkness, accept your darkness, and just be one with all of you. All the bad, all the lust, all the greed, that's still you. That's just your shadow, right? And just embrace it. Okay. Great theology. By the way, that was sarcasm, okay? Okay, don't be a jackass. The devil. I mean, who wouldn't love getting the devil? Bondage, addiction, temptation. Well, at least they were honest about that. Okay. But what they're essentially telling you is, break free from your religious constraints. Your desires are natural. So indulge, right? Did God really say? That's essentially what they're saying. Did God really say? Um, the tower, sudden change, upheaval, chaos, destruction is liberation. Yeah, destruction is painful. Destruction is not liberation.
You liar!
Destruction is destruction. That's bad. Okay. Um, guys, I don't know why we're reading this stuff. And I don't mean like why I'm reading this. I mean, like, I don't know why people are like into this. This isn't good. And I'm telling you what they're saying this is. All right. But the star, okay? Really? The star? Hope. Inspiration. Trust the stars. Let the cosmos affirm your truth.
Why are you gay?
The moon. You already know where I'm going at with this.
Why are you gay?
Embrace the shadows. The dream world is the true world. Here we go. The sun. Joy, success, positivity. Sorry, that's probably just the Marine in me. Essentially, it's saying that you are the source of your own light. Celebrate and radiate your truth or whatever. Okay.
Why are you gay?
Okay. That's what I think of every time I hear that. Judgment. Oh boy. Reflection, reckoning. That's what they say it is. Okay. And there might be some truth to that. Okay. But the satanic inversion of this, what they're essentially saying is that there is no judgment.
You liar!
Okay. I can tell you this. You don't want to be listening to this person. Okay. Because this guy, we bend the knee to God. We bend the knee to Christ. Lucifer is the author of this, okay? And he is not our boss. Okay? Yeah, there is such a thing as judgment, and judgment is coming, especially if you're practicing this stuff. Now, the world. The world. Completion, fulfillment, okay?
You liar!
We already know that, go try chasing the things of this world. See what it gets you. Pain. That's what it's going to get you. Essentially, it's saying that you've become God. Be your own God. The journey ends with exaltation. Okay? But it doesn't end well. Okay, so that in and of itself, that's the major arcana. And again, it's divvied up into 4 suits. It's cups, wands, swords, pentacles. And the rest of the cards are, like, as you can imagine, a regular card game, 1 through 9. They got the page, the knight, the queen, the king, and the ace. All right. Now you know basically the structure of, the tarot. But each card has their own individual meaning, and like I said, all of this is self-serving, okay? All of this is about the exaltation of the self, okay? And, it's just sad because it's all about me. It's all about it's all about me. It's all about mine. It's all about my, me, my. Sorry. Rest in peace, Toby Keith. Me. Right? It's all about me. Okay? That is Luciferian doctrine. Do what thou wilt. That is straight up Luciferian doctrine. Okay? Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, here's where this really gets bad. Angel cards. Angel cards. Now, so here's the thing, okay? I'm going to take you through some of this. And again, I'm going to show pictures and I'm going to superimpose them so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And you can read exactly what I'm talking about. All right. But the angel tarot, listen to me, okay? The angel tarot is specifically designed to be a divination tool that utilizes the spiritual energy of the 72 angels of the Kabbalah. Okay, if that doesn't seem too outlandish to you, okay, then I am going to let you know right here. This is actually, these aren't the 72 angels of the Kabbalah, okay? This is actually the 72 demons from the Ars Goetia, otherwise known as the Lesser Key of Solomon. Okay? That is really, 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 really bad. Okay? I cannot emphasize that enough. If you understand, if you recognize that title, the Ars Goetia or the Lesser Key of Solomon, this is a big problem. Okay. Oh, boy. So, okay. Now I'm gonna show you a little bit. Okay. And again, this is taking you back to what I was talking about earlier. Okay. I come with original source material. Now I'm superimposing the pictures because the cards are not here anymore. They are destroyed. All right. But I only kept this for the episode. Okay. Angel Tarot. This is the book it comes with. Now, again, I'm going to be superimposing the pictures right up here, and you can follow along with. Now, this wasn't just me saying this. I'm going to read it to you, okay? And again, I'm not going to read to you how to do it. That's not what I'm doing. But I am going to expose it, all right? So if you got the stomach for it, follow along. So right here, according to the secret doctrine of Cornelius Agrippa, every mortal born on earth has 3 guardian angels.
You liar!
Okay, Agrippa's occult philosophy is rooted in the sacred Kabbalah, all right, or the secret tradition of Israel,
You liar!
which postulates that the powers of the 72 angels of Shem HaMepharash are distributed throughout the times, the days, and the seasons. It is from this source that we obtain knowledge of their names, their attributes, and their mysteries. Let me tell you why that's problematic. At best, they're lying. At worst, they're telling the truth. And even worse than that, they have no idea what they're doing or what they did.
What'd you do?
Okay. They are extremely deceived because these aren't 72 angels. If they are angels, they're fallen angels. These are demons. Okay. We don't consult with demons. You understand me? If you're a Christian, you do not need to be touching angel cards. Okay? Just because it has angel in the title doesn't mean anything. We have to exercise some sort of discernment here. Okay? You would be surprised how many dingbats are so hopelessly deceived. Christian tarot readers, Christian witches. Okay. No such thing. They don't exist. Just like square circles don't exist. Okay. Follow along with me. This isn't good. So it explains, it breaks down the hierarchy of different angels. Yeah, it talks about seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions. I mean, here's the problem. The problem is that it pulls from scripture, but it twists it and it takes it completely out of context. And this is worshiping the creature rather than the creator. I mean, this is Romans 1. Romans 1, 18 through 32 is really, 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 really bad. Okay, really bad. As you can see right here. Okay. Move it a little bit closer. Conjuration of angelic spirits. Okay. Not just some hillbilly hick crying demon over here. Okay. You're conjuring and fallen angels or demonic spirits. Now, I blacked out the stuff because I'm not going to show how you actually do it. And they're using the Grand Pentacle of Solomon. If you know what that symbol is, that's bad. Okay? It's not good. It's not good. It means you got kind of a dark past. It's all right. It happens. They teach you summoning and releasing angelic spirits. I mean, they plainly say this. This isn't just trying to read your fortune. They're telling you that you're conjuring these spirits, okay? That's what it's saying. They got the evocation to summon angelic spirits. Blacked all that out. They got the license to depart. Blacked that out. Because you know why? Because we're not even going to be inviting them in the first place. Okay? We're not doing that. All right? We're not doing that. Research purposes only. And I do have limits. They got the evocation. Not reading that either. But I did want to point out this right here, okay? And I'm going to superimpose again right here. Angel Tarot is specifically designed to be a divination tool that utilizes the spiritual energy of the 72 angels of the Kabbalah. I mean, they wrote it themselves. I'm not some quack just saying this. You're reading it. They got the 3-card answer. Essentially what this is, they're telling you essentially how this, and again, I'm just telling you I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm telling you what they say it is. The first card, essentially, that you flip over represents the past or the influences, whatever. The second card represents the present. And the third card represents the future. And it's possible that a fourth card can be, pulled as well. Whatever. I mean, they got how to do it specifically. And then here's one part that I wanted to go over. They have the symbols that are on these things, okay? Now, if you look at this card right here, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, they have the summoning sigil. This is the actual sigil that is assigned to this demonic entity, okay? Now, if you were a witch or a wizard, this is the symbol that you would draw, okay? If you were doing chaos magic, this is the symbol that you would draw and then you would destroy, okay? But, and then over here it says their office, will, and new beginnings. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because we know that we can trust that. Then they have the Pinnacle of Tazarak. All right. They got the astrological meaning of the card. Yeah, right. And then right up at the top, we have the correspondence. Okay. The Fool. Um, yeah. Angelic number, whatever. Gay. Um, and then here's the go. And then they got archangels, right? They have Raphael, right? They have Gabriel, okay, which this is just now granted, I get it, it's Gabriel and he's not God, but like he's the messenger that brought the good news to Mary that she was going to be born with Jesus, or she was going to be born. She was going to give birth to Jesus, okay? And they got Gabriel in here. Okay? Slap in the face. Slap in the face. And then they have this guy. Okay? Pay attention to the name right up at the top. Okay? Are we for real right now? What? Why do even if it's angel card? Okay, why do we have this card?
Oh no. Oh no.
Why do we have this card? For what possible reason would you need to summon this one? I couldn't think of a good reason to summon this one. Could you? Why would you possibly want this one? But it's one that's, hey, listen, would he? I don't know. Are we gonna do it? Absolutely not. Okay? Not doing it. Not playing that stupid game. Okay? They got some other archangels. Uriel. Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure that Uriel looks like a fat little baby. Okay? Doubt it. Doubt it. And look, man, I'm not going to go through all these. I mean, I'm going to show some pictures up here. Look, if you really want, you can look online, but it's all just demonic crap. Okay? That's all it is. At best, okay? At best, you are seriously wasting your money. At worst, you are quite literally summoning demonic lying spirits into your house.
You liar!
Okay? That's no bueno.
Oh no.
Okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, are we for real right now? I mean, here's the crazy thing about it, because angel cards, I mean, you can go to any self-help aisle in any Barnes and Noble and you'll be able to find it. You'll be able to find it. And you know where you'll be able to find it? You'll be able to find it right in the self-help section.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Yeah, you will. You'll be able to find it. You'll be able to find it somewhere. You look past David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, and it's going to be somewhere in between your Best Life Now, The Secret, and How to Get Possessed for Dummies. Okay? That's where it's going to be. And then you're going to find angel cards. Okay? But they're not loving angels.
You liar!
Okay? They're not. Exodus 22:18, you shall not permit a sorceress to live. Okay? Is anybody not clear about that? I don't know why I'm seeing this on Christian TikTok, Christian witches, yeah, Christian tarot. No such thing.
You liar!
Okay. Legamenton, or the Ars Goetia, is popularly dubbed the Lesser Key of Solomon. Now, again, we know that. Now, essentially, what it does is it details. So, the Ars Goetia, all right, the Lesser Key of Solomon, details the 72 named spirits, each with specific jobs, such as causing sicknesses, stirring lust, and revealing things about the past and things to come. Essentially, fortune telling. Okay, that's what this is about. Now, look, man, they're openly admitting this stuff, and they're just slapping the name Christian on it, and Christians are buying it. Okay, I don't know how you're that easily duped. Okay, you need probably about the discernment level of a potato not to get duped by this. All right. But it's still happening for some reason. Revelation 21:8. But for the cowardly and the unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and immoral persons, sorcerers and idolaters, all liars, their part will be in the lake that burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Okay? So look, I'm going to give you a little bit of a different angle on this. I'm going to give you kind of like a spiritual street cop. Look, if you could think about that. So now you're going to see through my eyes. All right? You're going to look through the eyes of Ronan here. We're going to kind of break this down. I'm going to explain this in kind of like cop terms, how this essentially works. Okay? And it works based off of what is commonly referred to as familiar spirits. Okay. It's just a thing. So here's essentially how you want to think about it. You think of a familiar spirit essentially as a spiritual informant. Okay. It's a demonic entity that's assigned to a specific person, specific household and bloodline, and their job, their entire job is to gather intel, to influence your decisions, okay, and ultimately to lead you astray from God and send you to hell. Okay, that's their entire goal. That's their end goal. So listen. They're not the ghosts of your dead relatives. Okay? They're not. That's not Graham that passed away. That is a lying spirit that will take the form of whatever it needs to in order to drag you away from God and drag you to hell.
You liar!
Okay? That's what it is. So essentially what they do is they do long-term surveillance. So they know almost everything about you. Okay. Let's get that straight. They're like a narc doing a stakeout. All right. They know about your habits. They know about your weaknesses. They know about your goals. They know about your fears. They know about your triggers. They know about your search history in incognito mode. Okay. They do. So if you think no one else knows, they know. Okay. And essentially what they do is they log it all. They log all of it. They keep tabs on everything. And the other thing that you have to remember is that these spirits don't sleep. Okay. They don't sleep. They've been on your tail and they've been tracking you for years. Sometimes they stake out families for entire generations. Okay. But they're not freelancing. So essentially what they're going to do is they're going to report back to whatever witch or warlock or occultist that is essentially running point on your case. Okay. The one who targeted you. Now, most often they're granted essentially legal access through your sin, generationally, because of family bloodlines, past sin, current or past occult involvement. Okay, or as well as current or past demonic pacts. Okay, don't do those. Those deals, those record deals, those type of deals, those crossroad deals. Yeah, don't do those. Ask a witch. They will tell you. Bad news.
Oh no.
Don't do it. So when a psychic or a medium starts reading to you, they're actually not getting info from you or your aura, okay? Contrary to popular belief, that's not how they're doing it. The demon is right in their ear, okay? And it's just feeding them lines from your familiar spirit to theirs, okay? That's how they're doing this. And sometimes I suspect that the psychic or the medium doesn't even know that they're talking to a demon, okay? They are talking to a literal demon. And you want to know how you can do that? Here's how you can test it. First of all, you should never go to a psychic or a medium. However, if you did just to antagonize them and pelt them with gospel tracks, okay, which I think would make a hilarious YouTube bit, then what you want to do is if they start telling you, oh, well, my the spirits are telling me this, tell them, okay, have them identify the spirit in the name of Jesus. Let's see what happens. Okay. I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to tell you to get out. Okay. Because you're going to screw the entire session up. The entire session. Now, so listen, that's how deceived these people are, unfortunately. But that's how they get you. I mean, you're wanting to know how they get their hooks in you. Here's how they do that. So what they're going to do is the demon, okay, familiar spirit, call it whatever you want, okay, it's a demon. What the demon is going to do whenever it's passing information to the medium or to the psychic or whoever it is that's channeling it, what they're going to do is they're going to give 95% truth and they're going to give and they're going to sprinkle about 5% lie, okay? And the reason why they do this is at the same time is that this is building trust, number one. And number two, it's reprogramming your thinking that essentially nudges you towards sin, fear, and really just essentially dependency. Okay? Because you're going to be like, man, well, they only got a little bit wrong, but they got most of it right. So they got to be the real deal. I mean, they knew stuff about me that I never told anyone. Well, yeah, you never told anyone. But they knew because they were in the room with you. Okay? They know what you did last summer, right? This is quite legitimately spiritual psyops, okay? I mean, it's predictive programming, and this is, think of it, I mean, this is just spiritual Project Mockingbird. Okay? That's all this is. But here's why psychics, mediums, tarot readers, essentially they're mostly right. The reason why they're mostly right is because they're not guessing. Okay? They're not guessing. They're working an intel pipeline. Okay? You've been under surveillance your entire life. All right? They know your thoughts. They know your secrets. And essentially what they're going to do is they're going to drop a fact that only you know. Okay. And it's going to give you the chills. You're going to open up. And then that's whenever they're going to drop in the spiritual poison. Okay. and it's going to infect everything that you think of. And the cards, listen, man, the cards are just cards, okay?
The shape goes into a shape press that presses the shape into a pressed shape.
Okay, they're just cards. But here's the thing. The cards, they're just a visual cue. They're a visual bait and switch.
You liar!
Okay, that's all that this is. It's a visual bait and switch. What they do is they pique your curiosity. The demon capitalizes by manipulating your introspection to steer your thinking.
You liar!
That's how this works. The card's just a card. That's all it is. Okay, just like I said, started out as a card game. It's still just a card. Okay, that's not how this is actually working. The familiar spirits, they're extremely deceptive because, as the name suggests, they are extremely familiar. They feel extremely familiar to you. Okay? Now, whether you know it or not, you're actually used to being in their presence. Yeah. You're used to it. You're blind to it. Because you've had your blinders on and you had no idea, right? Good times noodle salad, man. You know? That's all it is. Not a care in the world. MTV and 7-Eleven Slurpees. All right, but you're actually being surveilled by demons. Okay? The spiritual realm does not sleep. This is going on around us 24/7, day or night, okay? And I put emphasis on day. This is going on during the day. So even when you're riding the school bus, even when you're typing at work, even when you're doing whatever, there are fallen entities that watch you. Okay? But remember, if you're a Christian, you are covered with the protection and with the blood of Jesus Christ.
You're not my supervisor!
Okay, so you don't have to worry about this stuff. Okay, but you do need to pray. You need to pray to keep this stuff away. But like I was saying, you're used to being in their presence. And listen, they certainly look familiar whenever they present themselves as Papaw.
You liar!
Okay, but they're not Papaw. They're not. Okay? And like I said, they're definitely familiar with you. They're basically hell's undercover narcotic agents. That's what familiar spirits are. They surveil you, they build your profile, and then they hand your file off whenever they're done. Whenever they got to report back to their master, their witch, their warlock, whatever. Okay? Isaiah 47:10-15. You felt secure in your wickedness and said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge have deluded you. You have said in your heart, I am, and there is no one besides me. But evil will come on you, which you will not know how to charm away, and disaster will fall on you, for which you cannot atone, and destruction about which you do not know will come on you suddenly. Stand fast now in your spells and in your many sorceries, with which you have labored from your youth. Perhaps they will be able to profit, and perhaps they may cause trembling. You are wearied from your many counsels, and now the astrologers and those who prophesy by the stars, let those who predict by the new moon stand up and save you from what will come upon you. Behold, you have become like stubble. Fire burns them. They cannot deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There will be no coal to sit and warm by, nor a fire to sit before. So those have become to you with whom you have labored, whom you have trafficked with from your youth, Each have wandered in his own way. There is no one to save you. So, we still think this is okay? This is Antoine LaVey, founder of the Satanic Church and author of the Satanic Bible, and he says, quote, "White magic is supposedly utilized only for good or unselfish purposes, but to the Satanist, there is no such thing as white magic." Okay. No such thing. It's all black. It's all black. It's all black. It's all black. It's all bad. Listen. Here's the bottom line, okay? It's not all love and light. Okay? It's hatred, it's rebellion, it's darkness. If you're into this stuff, you need to turn from your wickedness, you need to repent, and you need to believe the gospel. Okay? Jesus is the truth. So put your trust, your faith in the finished work of the cross. Be born again. Become a new creation in Christ. Move from darkness to light, from being dead in your trespasses and sin, and raised with him in the newness of life, and truly have love and life everlasting. Now that is real power.
Oh, yeah!
Okay. So listen, here we are, guys. This is about the time that I stopped last night. Look, like I said, I don't feel good. I'm sick. I'm tired.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Okay. But the show goes on, right? Sorry, I look like a smashed bag of potatoes, all right? But I've been waiting forever to get this to you guys. And listen, I wanted to tell all my guests, you guys are super, man. You're super. Takes a lot of guts to share your crap. And you guys are very inspiring. And you are definitely sanctifying. It's definitely helping me in my faith walk. And but I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to keep it all to myself. Like I said, this is going to be my last solo episode for a while. But this isn't going to be the last episode for a while. You know, I'm going to need to take a short break after this next guest that I have on. And then after that, then we're going to hit the ground running again. Still going to be writing in the novel. And still going to be plugging away at this. But in any case, look, you know, we got crazy times ahead of us. But, you know, this thing is growing. I want everybody to be a part of this. Share it with all your friends. You know, I haven't made a dime off of this. I don't make any money. I mean, I've blown tons of money. I do it because I love it. I do it because I love you guys, you know, and, anyway, I'm tired. I'm delusional. I don't even really know what I'm talking about right now.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Okay. But I got to go to bed. All right. So listen, if you haven't already done so, head on over to YouTube and Rumble, sign up for the Brass Knuckles Bible Club. You know, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss an episode. Do the same thing over on Rumble. And as I tell you guys, as always, you know, be strong, endure, and contend for the faith. And oh yeah, don't mess with tarot.
Gay.